Oh well,
Uh,
I'll commit it.
Hold on. All right. It's
Hey there, welcome. Shut the fuck. Okay. Hi there, welcome to Let's Talk, the thing where we talk about whatever comes to mind and put minimal effort into. Today, we're going to talk a bit about modern society and how we compare old people. So basically, we're talking about grandpas, even people that are already dead. You can say that probably. Compare them to Generation Z. I think you call them that these days, Generation Z or whatever it was.
yeah.
I find them just so weird. It's like the way they act sometimes because it's so different than what I'm used to. Like, yeah, I just don't understand it.
Well, first of all, I would like my grandpa to be out of it because my grandpa's an amazing guy. All right, don't be mean to him. Actually, you weren't mean to him. I'm sorry. Fuck. Anyway, but yeah, they're very weird. Yeah, I mean, we
Yeah, no,
are
it's
we
like
are Gen Z as well. You could say, we're the same
yeah,
generation.
but it's different though.
Uh, yeah,
Like
it's
it's it's the same generation, but it's just like shaped differently. Like you have specific brands, I would say, or like spin-offs in in the new generation, because you got the ones that like are very active on these online communities. You have the one that are very active in real life. You have the ones that are just chill and doing nothing. You have the ones that are very how would I say that? They're very
chaotic.
involved in like political stuff, and you got the kids that just don't care about it. There's a lot of different people, which is of course great to see, but it's just like the generation is so split. Like everyone got their own little thing going on, and everyone's just so split, which is a good thing, but it can also be negative from my perspective.
Well, it's good until it actually starts dividing people, don't you think? Until they're divided, and they start
Yeah,
making their own groups, and they start actively hating other people for being part of a different
group.
group. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I saw lately. It was about self-segregation. That's what they call it. It's like people are used to being in a group or like with some people, and then they're just gonna look at others like, oh, who are those? Like, oh, I don't know them and I don't trust them, so I'm just gonna stick with my own group. It's like called self-segregation or some shit. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like no one can do anything about it. It's like a human thing, but it's automatic. Like people get used to being in a group or like with specific people. Like it's just a human thing, I think.
Yeah, it is. It is natural to try to belong somewhere to meet people and create connections. It's really you cannot
It's
stop
difficult.
it. You cannot really stop it in the first place, because you always make connections with something or anyone. But
Yep.
yeah, people are very divided nowadays, and that really shapes a lot of things differently. I do
Yeah.
need to say, it really shapes everything we do. All the generations, really, for all the generations, it changes a lot of things.
Yeah, it of course changes like how people look at the world because well, I think that happens a lot of the times that certain people that are like called outcasts or they are just different than the rest, like because of the self-segregation, they are like it's more difficult for them to interact with people or make friends, that kind of stuff because people are so used to just being with the people they're used to instead of just going out there and like accepting everyone, but they just
Yeah,
want to stick with their own stuff.
yeah, they'll even go out of their way to just avoid avoid being around other people that are not part
Yeah.
of their group, and I guess that leads them to becoming more and more isolated from everyone else around them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's not a negative thing, of course, because you can always just stick with the people that you like and stick with the people that are in your group or in your like social circle. But I also think what this creates is a feeling for some people and certain individuals that are left out and actually like get a bad time because of it, because people are just so like discriminative, like they're indirectly discriminating you because of they just determine like, oh, he's like this, so we're not gonna let him in, and we don't know him, no one in our group knows him. Why would we let him in, like that?
I mean, yeah, I guess suspicion is natural. It's normal to be suspicious of other people, but it's bad when, for instance, you're anywhere actually. Like, let's say school. You're in school and you
Yeah,
just
yeah,
uh you don't really have that many friends, right? You just started the year, maybe new school, high school.
yeah. So, yeah,
It's gonna be very difficult for you to find people that you can stick with, especially
yeah.
if your interests, they're not like
The
very
same.
well looked on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like it's the same as like what we got over here. It's like a lot of younger children that go to a certain high school. The only way they connect to other people, which happened to some people in my class, is that they change their entire personality just so they can make some friends in the beginning years of their school. So, for example, you got one kid that loved like gaming and he loved watching anime, for example. You got those, of course, in the younger years. And they just completely give up on that, for example, because they want to fit in. They want to do the same stuff the other kids are doing so they can get a friend group. They can get a circle they can stick with for the entirety of their school years.
yeah,
And sometimes it works out for them. Like it just makes it so that they can interact with people, but it sometimes also means that they're holding back their personal feelings and their personal opinions, which is just like so weird to me that that happens.
yeah. Well, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was one of those people at some point. I might still be, for all I know. One of those people that they change their interests and some things that I about myself in favor of trying to be with other people. And it's been a while since I figured out that that's not really gonna work out too well for me. And I should just stick with what I have.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, it's real, and I think anybody has experienced this, unless they live under a rock or they're a lizard. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I just
no
find it.
offense, no offense to lizard people. So,
Sorry, if you're a listener and you're listening to this, we want to apologize.
yeah,
We did not
deep
mean to
apologies.
directly insult you. Yeah, our apologies.
Yeah,
I, I just I just think that it's just a negative that people change themselves. As I probably said, I can think I remember saying that in the last episode, was that I find it stupid that people change their personalities to fit in. Like, be yourself. Like, come on, man. Like, I understand that you want to fit in, but you don't have to. You can always stick to your own principles and find people that are also interested in that. Because if you think that your hobbies or your personal interests, your personality is weird to some people actually see it as like a fun personality and you can actually connect with those people. And if you give up on your personality and become like a person you don't want to be, then you're never going to meet the people that you want to meet. That's what my like point
yeah.
of view on that is.
To add to that, I guess you'll never be content with yourself. While
Yeah,
changing your like trying to change yourself for other people, you'll never get to be content with yourself for
yeah,
an actual good amount of time in which you can actually develop skills with those interests that you have, or you'll just
yeah,
end up at some point you might end up being left through. Even if you've developed all those skills, people change. They might even change their interests again, and then you'll just be left there, a
yeah,
bit confused. You have to adapt, I
yeah.
guess.
Confused and curious why, like, oh god, like I changed myself to be like them, but now they're not like that anymore. So they're like confused and they don't know what to do, and they just don't trust themselves anymore, for example. And then
Yeah.
they change again. They change their personality again to fit in once again. And that cycle that you can see a lot at schools for younger
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
is
Definitely.
continuing like the entire time. Like, okay, so I'm weird to other people, my personality is weird to other people. I try to change it, I changed it. Oh wait, they're different now. I have to change again. Like, it's an endless cycle that you're just hurting yourself with on in later life.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Cause yeah, um, it's like time. I'd say time changes. Things change with time. Trends, fashion,
Yeah.
uh, age, animals, species, people. Uh, you know, Technology
Yeah,
changes. Everything changes with time. So it's bound that your interests will soon change as well.
differ from what you're used to.
Yeah.
And that's actually true with age. Like a lot of these kids do it when they're like younger ages, when they haven't really figured themselves out yet. And then if they have to figure themselves out, which is like the later years of your younger life, like 14 to 18, 14 to 20, you try to you figure yourself out, like what you are, what you like, and what you do. But if you never have that stage, what can happen if you change your personality and interests? If you never develop
Yeah.
the feeling of knowing yourself, in later life it's going to hurt you because you don't know what you like, you don't know what to do, and I think that it's just going to hurt you
Yeah.
because you
You're
don't have
insecure.
a
You're
stage.
scared.
You're insecure about yourself, you're insecure about who you are, what you want, what your personal preferences are, because you change that because of another's opinion. It's just so hard for me to understand what still happens, and it's probably just the perfect embodiment of a person that you got in the back of your head, basically.
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
And let's just say, like, if you just move from like elementary school to middle school, right? You make this big change. I think you've also had that, like the big change from going to teachers that just love you to teachers that don't care about you
Yeah.
because all they do is want to learn you and teach you how to do a specific thing, which I of course respect. They do their jobs that they're assigned to do.
Yeah.
And for a person that goes from elementary school to middle school and they just see all these people that are a couple of years older than them doing those kinds of things, like what was really popular for a lot of kids was they always said to themselves, I'm never gonna smoke, I'm never gonna do drugs. They
Oh
do that.
yeah.
But then, yes, when they come
The
to middle
classic.
school,
The
the
classic. Oh,
classic,
go the classic.
yeah,
The, uh, the
yeah, I'm
classic
not gonna do
scenario
it.
in anti-drug ads. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, those guys,
Yo,
those
don't
guys,
do
yeah,
drugs, kids. Don't
those
be. Don't
jokes.
try to act cool. Then just
Yeah, and
show
then
some 12th graders. 12th graders. Yeah.
they just trust him immediately. But
Yeah.
then they go to middle school and they see, oh my god, I see people smoking. I hear that it's cool to smoke. I'm hearing it's cool to do drugs. Like, oh my god, I have to do it as well. Otherwise, like, I'm gonna miss out on stuff that's really fun for older people. And then that's also a negative thing because then when they get older and they still do it, they're gonna influence the kids that they once were to do it again. So it's
Yep.
another endless cycle of influencing the
Yeah.
younger people.
I guess it never really changes.
Yeah,
It hasn't
it's really
changed with.
it's really just the older generations teaching the younger ones what to do because they want to follow their footsteps.
Yeah, I feel like because of that, it's why we are so divided as the world at this point. That's why we have so many wars. That's why so many people suffer with famine, with disease, with violence. Because we have
We really just
disregarded
look. Yeah, we
disregarded
disregarded
what
like
the good message that people had to bring. The people
yeah,
before us had to bring, and we took away the message, in which, hey, invading that country or just punching a random dude in the face because
Yeah, he
fucking, I
acts
don't
a
know.
certain way or
Yeah,
looks like
yeah, and they say it's cool, and then you as a person, those people
you're
might be
gonna
your
follow.
parents. They might be your parents. They might be anyone you know, and if they're close to you, you will do as they say because they're
Yeah,
close to you and you trust them and you know that
you trust.
you're
Yeah,
sure that what they say is true, but it might not be so true, and you just
yeah,
end
and
up doing,
what they are doing,
yeah, continuing the cycle.
continuing the cycle of hatred. And honestly, I think one of the most important factors to this happening is because the me, not you, like mindset. It's like I only care about what happens to me, and if it doesn't affect me or help me in any way, I'm not gonna do it. Like,
Yeah,
okay, so you ask me to do a certain task. Like, is it gonna benefit me? Okay, I will do it. If it benefits me, I'll do it. But it's not gonna benefit me. It might hurt me. It might, not do anything at all that might give me something in return. I'm not gonna do it. It's like a really, I only care about
inconvenient.
me.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, inconvenient
inconvenient.
and
People
annoying.
won't do something inconvenient for them, even if it's good for other people, because some people are selfish and
Selfish, and they just want to get the benefits of doing it instead of just doing it for the like making another person happy or another person do something useful like for
yeah.
himself.
Honestly, I see that as well. Like this thing, I see it on everywhere. Like, let's take social media for example. You go
Yeah.
anywhere and you just see people falsely trying to act like they're selfless. Like they give themselves out to other people. But you can
Yeah.
just tell those people are just faking it just for themselves, just for the sole purpose of just being good in other people's eyes. So they say, "Oh wow, look at this person. They're so
Yeah,
nice,"
look at how great he is. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and do this and that, and then you just realize a while later, you realize that you know that guy wasn't who he said he was, and he apparently did this thing and this thing, and you're also surprised. I cannot be that surprised anymore when people do stupid things after they become famous, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
There's
and
plenty of accounts of people just doing stupid stuff after they become famous.
and then children get influenced by that and try to follow the example of that.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't really say I'm surprised at this point.
Hmm.
I've
And
seen,
I honestly think that if these older generations influence like younger children, for example, it's not a bad thing because they can also teach them like the right lessons. Like in the past we've done really bad things, so you shouldn't do it. Like we learn from our past,
yeah,
but if people learn from the wrong past, so I would say like if they learn from lessons of hatred or lessons that their parents told them that aren't really useful for anyone else other than themselves, that's gonna hurt them. And I think that if we continue the cycle of letting children be influenced so much by outside sources that aren't effective and good for them, like we need to stop that because honestly, I think that a lot of people are becoming insecure and
yup,
actually hate on themselves
yup,
because some influencers, for example, post videos and photos of how good their life is, of how beautiful they are, and they just give this wrong image of what you should look like and what you should do to be happy to younger children.
yeah,
And
yeah,
as you, yeah, as you said before, like they want to show the best of themselves to these to social media, but they don't show their worst. Like, did you ever see someone just make a really bad picture of themselves and just post it on social media? No, they won't.
nope, no,
they
you only
they
see the
won't
good
post
part.
it. Yeah, they always show like the best of themselves and not showing the less good, like the worst part of themselves. And that's just giving them this wrong depiction of what happiness is and what like showing yourself is, and that's making them insecure, I
Yeah.
think.
Well, yeah, I tend to see that a lot nowadays. The past few, in the past year or so, I've I've learned to be more attentive, more careful to what's going on around me. So I look around and I just see so many people with. I can see them on their phones, whatever. We're at
Yeah,
school, they're just doing minding their own business, and I look over, I see that they're on their phone and they're on Instagram, and uh, they take so much time and they take so many pictures around everywhere, and they just only pick out the best, and then they
yeah, and
just go
share
around
it.
complaining how things are bad for them. I've met a few people like that, and
Yeah,
it's I feel it just makes me feel sad for the people around them who are influenced by those kind of people, because hey, they're gonna end up exactly the same. Nothing's
yeah.
gonna change that. They're gonna yeah, they're just gonna become these selfish people who just don't care about what's going on around them, and they just want to look good in front of a camera.
They want to look good on front. Yeah, and that's another thing is the ID. What was it again? That oh man, I forgot that one. It was like I was thinking about something that oh yeah, they're not living in the moment anymore. Like they're not living in the moment. Like if they go to a concert, for example, like a lot
Yeah,
of people just film it, put it on their stories. Okay, that's all right. But then you have these people that just look at their phone the entire time to get attention from what they're doing. They don't care that the concert has this person or this person. All they care about is them like showing other people what they're doing. Like, oh, look at me, I'm currently at a really popular concert, and you should give me attention for it.
yeah, and definitely that what you said. People are gonna be, I don't know, at home, right? They're gonna see
Yeah.
those pictures and they're gonna think to themselves, "Oh man, I feel so bad for not being there.
Yeah.
I'm wasting my life.
Yeah,
Uh,
they're gonna
I'm
feel
doing
bad.
so I'm doing so poorly at the moment. While this person is just having friends and going out every day and having no worries. They just start becoming
Yeah.
more isolated. You start
Yeah.
throwing yourself away from your family, your loved ones. Then you eventually stop even having actual friends. And then you just end up being low and in just one place, cornered by all these expectations that
Yeah,
you've set up for
expectation.
yourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, the expectations of like, okay, so if I'm gonna be this old, I have to do this because otherwise, like, I'm not gonna be like this person that I see on the internet doing all this cool stuff.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, sure. Like, not everyone gets influenced by that much. But I do think that if something really fun happens and really cool happens, and the first thing that comes to your mind is, I'm gonna grab my phone, I'm gonna film it so I can show my friends what I've done, instead of just enjoying what is happening in front of them. And that's what I absolutely hate about the mindset of grabbing your phone to film something, because I have seen videos of people that are looking at like people that are hurt, people that fell off their bike, people that like
Yeah, and they just
have
film it instead
injuries.
of
And, and what
helping.
do? They film it and they just look at it and they're like, ah, it's not my problem. I'm just gonna film it so I can show it around and get some likes or views. That's what I hate about the modern mindset of filming everything that you see that is a bit like significant. And I saw that happening to a streamer. He was in Amsterdam. It was pretty.
Oh wow. Okay, hold on.
He just looked at him
Oh,
whilst he
sorry,
was
sorry. Something
choking.
cut out. Could you? You were in Amsterdam. The streamer was
Yeah,
in Amsterdam, and
and he got grabbed like by a person and got choked. Right? He got choked by a person, and what happened is that everyone around him that you could see on the video was just looking at him, just looking at how he was getting choked. And there were like a lot of people that were capable of just stopping this. Like if three people just came in and did something, he wouldn't get choked by the guy. But no, they just look at him, grab their phone and film it. Like, oh, look at this guy, he's getting choked. Oh no. Like I'm just not gonna do anything because not my problem. Like
Yeah,
that's the selfish mindset that people got these days. It's like film it for own purposes. I don't care if he, actually is hurt or some shit like that. No, I'm just gonna film it
yeah.
to show later on.
Because of these kind of things, these kind of actions, if you don't struggle to find people, to make your social circle, you're gonna be left
Yeah,
alone, and nobody's gonna give a shit.
yeah, and that's a
Frankly,
bit like
nobody's gonna care. You know?
it's like let's just say it's like let's take it like a sign. So you got all these people around you, and your loneliness is choking you. For example, the loneliness is choking you. Everyone around you is just looking at you like,
Yeah,
oh, what a loser, for example, and they're not gonna interfere. They're not gonna do anything, whilst you are there choking, trying to do your best, and that's just so. It's actually pretty funny that you actually came up to the like you being alone because of those actions. I think it's
yeah,
a really good reference to
it
what's
is.
like happened.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I just don't know like why the mindset of like the modern day society is like film it, don't care, not my problem. I'm just gonna leave it. You know, like that.
Yeah, it's uh, people. They interact with each other. They influence each other very much, and while that
Yeah,
happens, there's bound to be negative influence. It's always been a thing, and probably always will be. But it's very important that people start realizing what is good influence and what is bad influence.
yeah, and they will not figure that out without the teachings of actual useful people,
Nah,
which
yeah,
no one seems to care about anymore.
yeah. Uh, People nowadays, I don't know, I mean to get too much into this kind of thing, but they seem to normalize a bunch of negative behavior, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
they normalize so many bad things, and they make it so that it's okay. They say it's okay to do this and that just because they have it. They want to normalize themselves so they can start creating a group of people with the same interest. I mean,
yeah.
there's
Same
people,
mindset.
yeah, people out there faking autism, people out there who are like morbidly obese, and they're just saying, "Oh, hey,
It's healthy.
skinny people are just stupid, and we should all just for some reason be morbidly obese." It sounds weird, but I've actually seen somebody say that.
Yeah,
Genuinely,
and
just
that.
say that, hey, it's better to be morbidly obese. They just
Yeah,
said
yeah,
like
yeah.
something like big. It's good to be big instead of small, right, bro?
Yeah,
You're
no,
morbidly obese. You're gonna die in like a few
yeah.
months or a few years,
I mean, I don't want to
bro.
specifically hate like on those. Like, if you look at most of the obese people, they can't do anything about it. Like, some of them can do something about it. It's just like they are doing it to themselves. But a lot of them can't do anything about it. Have like an issue with something, or are just incapable of doing it. But I think to the point where you're gonna discriminate other people because you're different than them and they do not accept it because it's just not alright. Like as you said, obesity, it's a problem. You can't
Yeah,
normalize obesity. It's just a fact that it's not good for you and it's not healthy. But
yeah.
there is a
It's
point where those people are gonna literally like I think just distance themselves from facts and go to like what they feel like is a fact and not what it's actually like a fact.
yeah,
So, and that's another thing that you were saying is the faking disorders. Man, I have seen that so many
yeah,
times,
man.
and it's just horrible from my perspective. I just don't like it at all that people
I
do that.
am I am super grateful at the moment that I don't have Instagram nor TikTok. because right now I would be in a different state of mind. From watching all
Yeah.
those videos. Honestly, it would just kill me if I would watch and see those things. I know they exist. That's why I've mentioned them, but I've never necessarily watched them.
Yeah, and
Luckily.
yeah, and I think the people that are faking it, I think they are not doing it because to annoy people. I think they're just doing it because they are comfortable with it. But the problem I have with it is the fact that they're trying to normalize self-diagnosis. Like I
Oh
support them, of
yeah.
course, in being themselves. Like
Oh.
you can do that. But what I do not like is the fact that they're normalizing being able to self-diagnose yourself
Yeah.
and
Oh my
give
god.
you an excuse to do specific stuff. Like, hi, I'm just gonna self-diagnose myself with autism, and now you have to respect me because I self-diagnosed myself, and now
Yeah.
you are gonna be insert random term because you do not appreciate my self-diagnosis, and I
Yeah.
think that is a problem, and for the people that are actually suffering from it, that are just getting left out, because
They're
these people feel like,
yeah, they're
you know,
just yeah.
yeah, they're like, oh yeah, I'm like you, but I'm not actually like you.
Yeah, they feel I guess they feel more isolated and they feel more uh inclined to just keep their problems to themselves, even though they actually have problems and they need actual help.
Yeah,
They're less encouraged by those things happening. Those people faking their disorders and their problems, they're less encouraged to get help because
yeah.
why should they?
Well,
Because
why should they? Because it's a positive thing to have it. It's not unhealthy. They
yeah,
try to make an excuse for doing what they do, and even though like you should respect what they do, I do not think we should go to a certain extent where we accept it. Like accept the fact that self-diagnosis is like a
honestly,
legal thing.
honestly, people say respect, right?
Yeah,
What does
respect.
that? I mean, what is the universal definition of respect?
I
How do you
think that
respect somebody? Because so like
I
respecting
think
doesn't. All right, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, no, like it's a bit conflicting, but I think that respect is when you appreciate someone for being themselves and when you appreciate someone for just doing what they want to do. And I think there's forms of respect where you respect someone because they made a really difficult choice in their life, or you respect someone because um, they did a like a heroic deed. Like I respect you because you did that, and I can trust you. Like I respect you as a person. And you
Well,
have to respect that is, of course, like if someone decided, hey, like I don't want to be hetero anymore. Like you can respect it. You can respect that decision, but you can also not respect it. I think respect has more meanings to it. Like the definition of respect is just different. I think.
yeah. Well, my definition of respect is not necessarily to appreciate people. No, my definition of respect is to leave those people to their problems,
Themselves.
right?
Yeah,
Don't disturb them as long as they don't disturb you.
yeah.
But
I think
there's
that's
so many
also
times where I've had so many times in which I've situations in which I was not able to express my personal opinion on a subject because people who were not even in that domain, by the way, they were not experts, they were nothing. They would just come up to me instantly when I would even try to express my opinion in a polite manner, right? They would
yeah,
just jump in my face and go around oh, you should respect people. Well,
yeah.
the
I'm trying.
those people don't necessarily know what respect means. Respect means leave that person to their own stuff, right?
Yeah,
You
and
can talk
don't.
about it. Nobody
Yeah,
says you cannot talk about something. It's just
yeah, but just don't like respect is
don't bring
like.
it up to the
Treat,
person. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
if the whole world knows about something and the person like they're talking about the whole world, 7 billion people they know about something and one single person in the entire world doesn't know about it and those people make an effort to not treat them differently because they know that stuff, I feel like it's
Yeah.
okay because those people, if they make the effort to just treat the person the same way, there's nothing
Hmm.
wrong with that. The person will
Yeah.
be treated the same, but you express your opinion. Nowadays, it's so delicate to do anything. You cannot go on the internet and properly express an opinion because of fear of getting attacked by a bunch of people because
Who
you're
don't
not
agree with it.
respecting them. You know?
Yeah, yeah, and that's also a thing. Definitions of certain words are just getting thrown out of the window.
Yeah,
Like I,
people
I
start.
see, yeah, I see people using like certain terms that are actually like linked to something really bad, used in the wrong situation. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna say what they are. I think that's irrelevant to the point.
it
But
is.
I think that people are just throwing around terms for random stuff and actually changing the definition to benefit themselves only. Like you can
Yeah,
see that happening in America, in Europe, all over the world. Like people are just throwing around like terms for specific things, changing it for their own benefit, and just not caring anymore about what it
yeah,
actually is,
it
about the fact.
is.
And I think that this has been an amazing podcast again. Um, Husky, we had a good talk. I absolutely loved it. And
Yeah,
I think we'll see you guys later.
yeah. Before we do that, remember, what we talk about is just our opinions. Don't go ape mode on anything, because again, respect me, will you? Respect me, Johnny.
Yes,
All
I
right,
will respect you.
all right, guys. Cool. Thank you for making it this far. I love you. Bye bye.